The time has come. The eliminations have passed. The only two teams left standing in the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Tournament are Westmont College and Menlo College, the two top teams. Both teams won their semifinal matches in dramatic 5-set fashion, and now they meet again, perhaps to go 5 sets against each other for the third time this year. Let's crown a GSAC champion inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. It's the Warriors and the Oaks, and it's next on the Menlo College Sports Network. Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is Brian Brownfield, the Sports Information Director here at Menlo College with the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Championship match between the second-seeded Westmont Warriors and the top-seeded and the host, Menlo College Oaks. Westmont and Menlo, they have both played just one match to get here. It was earlier today, so rest has transpired, and now we are ready for the championship match. And we're about 7 minutes or so away from the introduction of pregame ceremonies. For Westmont College, their mark this season is pretty darn good, as a matter of fact. They're 24-6 on the year, and they tied Menlo in terms of conference play record at 14-4. They won in 5 against Vanguard University in a rematch of the semifinal from last year. They got the win just as they did one season ago, and they're looking to get back to the championship game and win it, something they did not do last season. They lost to the Masters University in the tournament championship, but this year they have bigger things in mind. They are led, of course, by their very, very strong middle blocking, and it leads to some very high percentages. You look at the numbers this season, they attacked at 20.6%, just an absolutely stellar mark, no matter how you look at it for any type of collegiate volleyball team. A lot more kills than the other teams and a lot fewer errors as well. This is a very sound team, especially when you look at players like Keelan Kistner, like Lexi Malone, like Hallie Galloway, and don't forget Cassidy Ray, all-conference player. More on her later on. They're also very strong on the block. 250 total blocks entering this tournament. One of the better marks in the conference, and because they have a lot of size, they don't allow blocks either. They really did a strong job this season limiting the opponents at the net. And it goes twofold, right? It's one, it's blocks, but also two, you're not hitting so well if you can't get around the massive height that they have up front. Lexi Malone is 6'3", Kendall Kenyon is 6'1", Cassidy Ray is 6'3". Good luck. I just named 3 players over 6'1". They're very good, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and it will be tough for Menlo College to get past as well. And they are a vocal team. Boy, the one thing I noticed about this Westmont team, having seen them play a couple weeks ago here in Atherton and then having seen them play in their semifinal match, they're just a vocal team. They communicate well. They have each other's back, and that's a very, very important thing to point out as we go on. They play as a unit, something to watch for in this one. Menlo College, boy, they didn't make it easy, did they? They're 19-9 overall, finished as the regular season champions in the GSAC for the very first time in program history, and they did so in dramatic fashion. They beat Hope International to close out the regular season on the road. Then their semifinal matchup, guess who? Yeah, they also took on Hope International, and they got down 2-1. But Menlo College doing what they always do. They are the most resilient team in the Golden State Athletic Conference, and it was on display once again with the first serve at 11 o'clock, that semifinal match. They wound up winning in 5, 15-11 the final in the 5th set. And Menlo, dramatic as ever, Moya Keikowoha with 19 kills. Jaden Scott had 15, and she hit at 23.5% with 5 block assists. She really impressed me in that game. And I think Jaden Scott in the middle trying to counteract whatever Westmont throws at him. That's going to be awfully important here in this one today. And also, again, this is where the cream of the crop has to rise. I mentioned it in the semifinal match. I'm going to mention it again here. The Oaks have the best setter, and they have the best player in the GSAC, at least statistically speaking, in Pamela Dungo, and they have Moya Keikowoha. Now, Pamela did not have her best game in the semifinal match. Let's just be honest. She did not have the best game, and the stats aren't necessarily going to confirm that. She had 52 assists in the match, so yes, she was very good. But despite the fact that she had that volume, you know, the Oaks only hit at 9.4%, and part of that is a reflection of the balls that she is setting to her teammates. She needs to do a better job there. And how is Moya Keikowoha going to be here in this one? She took 91 swings in the semifinal match. Now, yes, that one concluded at around 1:30, so, she's had 5.5 hours to rest up. But, I mean, 91 swings, that's a lot. For comparison, no one on the floor tonight had more than, well, Kristen Whitney had 53, but no one for Westmont took more than 40. And yes, they went to 5 sets against Vanguard as well, and no one took more than 40 swings. So Westmont, it's not crazy to think this, they might actually be the fresher team here tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both sides. We'll begin with the lineup rolled out by head coach Ruth McGolpin in her first season as the head coach of the Warriors program. She's a longtime assistant coach for Westmont. Her lineup looks like this. Junior libero, 5 foot tall, out of Auburn, Washington, number 2, Lauren Fries. The outside hitter is a 5'10 junior out of Cardiff, number 5, Hallie Galloway. At the opposite, a 6'3 senior out of Ventura, number 11, Cassidy Ray. Outside hitter, a 5'10 junior out of Bakersfield, number 12, Brooklyn Cheney. The middle blocker is 6'3 freshman out of Ventura, number 14, Lexi Malone. Middle blocker, 6'1 freshman out of Newport Beach, number 15, Kendall Kenyon. And the setter tonight, a 5'9 freshman out of Quinn Creek, Arizona, number 16, Keelan Kistner. Once again, for the Warriors, it's Fries the libero, followed by Galloway, Ray, Cheney, Malone, Kenyon, and Kistner. And now the starting lineup for the Menlo College Oaks, as announced by their head coach, Denise Sheldon. She's in her 3rd season. She's the 2019 GSAC Coach of the Year, and her lineup looks like this. It's identical to what it was in Game 1. The libero, a 5'5 junior out of Murrieta, number 4, Luciana Herrera. The defensive specialist is a 5'5 sophomore out of Humble, Texas. She's wearing number 5 in this game because of some blood on the uniform from match number 1. It's number 5, Janae Wooten. An outside hitter, a 5'9 senior out of Alamo, number 8, Nicole DiMartino. And middle blocker, a 5'11 junior out of Escalon, number 9, Jaden Scott. And middle blocker, a 5'10 junior out of Auberry, number 11, Abby Briggs. An outside hitter, a 5'7 senior out of Kaneohe, Hawaii, the GSAC Player of the Year, Moya Keiko Oha. And the setter, a 5'4 senior out of Hercules, California, with the largest cheering section inside Haynes Prim. It's number 18, Pamela Dungo. Once again, for the Oaks, they will roll with Herrera as the libero, followed by Wooten, DiMartino, Scott, Briggs, Keiko Oha, and Dungo. We are just about 1 minute away from the beginning of the 2019 GSAC Championship match. In a moment, we'll turn it down to our public address announcer, Chris English, who will take you through the national anthem and the introduction of starters. It's the Warriors, it's the Oaks, it's the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Championship, and it's coming up next on the Menlo College Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Number 11, Cassidy Ray. Number 12, Brooklyn Cheney. Number 14, Lexi Malone. Number 15, Kendall Kenyon. And number 16, Keelan Kistner. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Menlo College Oaks. Number 1, Janae Wooten. Number 4, Luciana Herrera. Number 8, Nicole DiMartino. Number 9, Jaden Scott. Number 11, Abby Briggs. Number 13, Moya Keikaoa. And number 18, Pamela Dungo.
All right, let's take you through the starting lineups one more time in case you're just tuning in. You found the Menlo College Sports Network, the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Championship match between Westmont College and Menlo College. For Westmont, as announced by Ruth McGolpin, they'll go with Lauren Friesen as the libero, followed by Hallie Galloway, Cassidy Ray, Brooklyn Cheney, Lexi Malone, Kendall Kenyon, and Keelan Kistner. For Menlo College, as announced by Denise Sheldon, they will go with Luciana Herrera as the libero, followed by Janae Wooten, Nicole DiMartino, Jaden Scott, Abby Briggs, Moya Keikawoha, and Pamela Dungo. The Warriors will be on the left-hand side of your screen. They are wearing their alternate all-black uniforms with the black shorts. They have white trim on the sides. The numbers in the front and back in white with their burgundy-ish red maroon colored trim. Westmont across the shoulder blades in the same fashion. On the right-hand side of your screen, the home team, Menlo College, in front of their home crowd, trying to win their first conference championship since 2014. They're in the white tops, same as game one. Navy shorts, numbers on the front and back in navy. No trim, Menlo College across the shoulder blades, gray and navy piping. These two teams have played twice in the regular season. It went 5 in Santa Barbara. It went 5 in Atherton. Both teams won on their respective home floor. And now it is time to crown a champion. Westmont has been atop the GSAC for a while now. They have had at least a share of the conference title in 3 of the last 4 years. Menlo, they have never been in the GSAC championship match. First time ever. Keelan Kistner will serve it first for the Warriors. Crowd still filing in. It will be packed. It will be loud. And we're glad you could tune in. Kistner serves first. It's out of bounds. It's a service error and a good start for the Oaks. It's 1-0. Service aces versus errors will be something to watch for. Westmont, more errors than aces going into the tournament. As a matter of fact, 11 more. Jaden Scott serves it first. It's dug out by Cheney. Kistner with the set. Gets it to Galloway and lands it in the corner. We're tied up at 1. She just went right across the floor, Hallie Galloway, and she's one of the best in the conference in that department. Attacked at 19% this year for an outside hitter. That's very good. Finished in the top 5 in that department. Herrera on the dig. Dungo sets. Keikawoha rolled right into the net, and it's 2-1. Westmont with their first lead here in set 1. And important to point out as well, Keikawoha with 91 swings in the first match for the Oaks. That's a lot. Galloway serves it again. Keikawoha leaps up in the air. Dungo all the way over for Abby Briggs, and she finds a vacant spot in the middle to lock us up at 2. We'll see our first substitution for Menlo. Wooten comes off. Kristen Whitney comes on. She was very good in the Oaks' 5-set victory over Hope in the semifinals. Pamela Dungo will serve it. The Menlo College all-time assists leader, single season and program leader. Spinner to the sideline, out of bounds right in front of the bleachers. And Westmont goes back in front 3-2 off a service error from Dungo. Entering the tournament, she had 42 service errors on the season. So it's 3-2, Westmont out in front, and on to serve is Alexa Gaddis, the freshman out of Campbell, California, a very young Westmont team as well. That's kind of been the trend for a lot of their teams lately, and the trend for Menlo College is just feed Moya Keikawoha. She's got one right there, and we're tied up at 3. her first kill. And Moya Keikoha now 50 kills away from tying the single season record for kills in Menlo College history. There goes Keikoha on the service. The set by Kistner right from the middle was Kenyon, and she's going to have a kill. She got it right off of Pamela Dungo, and that makes it 4-3. That's Kendall Kenyon, the Newport Beach, California native. She graduated from Saddleback Valley Christian High School, and she's young, but she's talented, as is the case with virtually all of these recruits that Ruth McGulpin has brought in this season, including Sydney Dunn, a sophomore. She's got a service ace. It went right through Luciana Herrera, and it's 5-3. Warriors a 2-point lead. First time either side has been up by more than one. Dungo to the middle for Kristen Whitney. She throws it across the floor, and Dunn was there on the dig. Two players run into each other on the set for Westmont. It's across to Keikoha. Dungo, back set for Kristen Whitney. Flipped it down, played by Dunn. Freeze, rallies one to her left for Cheney. Cheney lands one in the near side corner. Perfectly placed, and it's 6-3. Westmont out in front now. They lead by 3. So Sydney Dunn goes back again. Bonanza High School. That's a new one. Herrera to Dungo. Sets DiMartino. Goes over the block, but Freeze there on the dig. Dunn sets up Cheney. Tickered off the net, and right there is Herrera. Waiting Dungo into the middle for Keikoha, but an easy dig for Freeze. Dunn gets it to Cheney, and now it's DiMartino. Dungo right back to Nicole DiMartino, and it goes wide, and now it's 7-3. Well, sluggish beginnings are nothing new for Menlo College. They've done that a lot this year, and they did it a lot in their 5-set win against Hope International. In 4 of the 5 sets, Menlo trailed by at least 4 points. Kristen Whitney is unsuccessful on her attack attempt that went over the net. There's Dungo on a dive, and now Denise Sheldon almost gets run into by Kristen Whitney. It's already 8-3 Westmont. As more of the Menlo faithful start to file in, perhaps that will be advantageous for the Oaks. We'll see a substitution. Very early, Lauren Schaefer will come on for Nicole DiMartino. Schaefer, a junior outside hitter out of Yorba Linda, California. And so she'll get her first action here in the championship match. Transferred from Fullerton College. Keikoha to Dungo, waiting for it. There's Schaefer, rolled over, and it's played by Sydney Dunn. Free sets one for Cheney. Roll shot played by Keikoha. Dungo back set Kristen Whitney, went near side, and it's going to do the trick. It was Madison Morrison who didn't really look ready for that attack. So often in the arsenal of Kristen Whitney, she likes to go cross court, so she'll be stationed on that far side and then play it towards the near corner. But that time she just kept it true, and I don't think Morrison was ready. Freeze on the dig. Dunn over for Cheney. The Oaks block got there, but punched up in the sky by Dunn. Freeze goes right back to Cheney and sends it straight into the net. 4 touches. And a good way for Menlo College to respond. You know that's what they want to do. They cannot keep falling behind by 4 or more points, especially to a team like Westmont that will not allow them back in. Herrera serves it. Right there is Morrison. Dunn sets up Cheney, lofted it over to Keikoha. Dungo into the middle for Jaden Scott. One of her first tries of the night. Wasn't successful. Kenyon floats one over to Herrera. Dungo to Whitney in the middle. And right there the Warriors play it. Cheney again with an authoritative blast off the shoulder of Luciana Herrera. Boy, that one had some heat on it. And not even the fantastic digger and Luciana Herrera could save that one. 9-5 Warriors, and now on to serve is Brooklyn Cheney. Cheney is ready from the free throw line. It's to Keikoha. Dungo, quick set for Jaden Scott, got it over the block, but it was played well by the Warriors. And then tickered down, Hallie Galloway has the kill, and it's 10-5. So already the Warriors have shown that they are going to make life difficult in the middle. The Oaks have not had a strong attack because they can't get over the block. Herrera, Dungo, back set for Whitney, and it's through, but this time it's played by Cheney. The set, the left-handed attack by Patty Kerman. Dungo has the dig. Herrera now, over for Whitney. It's off the block. The Oaks play it. Whitney meets it at the net, rolls off the net. Schaefer down low, and then Schaefer went under the net. And it's 11-5 Westmont College, and Denise Sheldon walks over, and she wants a timeout. Timeout on the floor. First time out of the GSAC championship match. It's 11-5 Westmont. You're watching the title game here on the Menlo College Sports Network. We come back from the first timeout called by the Oaks. It's 11-5. In more conference championship news today, a women's soccer champion has been crowned in the GSAC. Vanguard University taking down Westmont 1-0 in the title match, hosted by none other than Westmont College. Service error off the timeout makes it 11-6, so the Oaks are back within 5. That certainly is a good way for them to begin. And now Janae Wooten goes back to serving. So Vanguard wins women's soccer, Menlo wins men's soccer. Who's going to win women's volleyball? The last of the fall to be determined. Thrown down by Galloway. Herrera had the dig. It's Schaefer into the block. Herrera got there, but her dig then went over towards the ref stand and no one could cover for the Oaks. So it's 12-6. Haynes Prim nearly full already here in the first set, midway through 12-6. Westmont in front. Lauren Fries on the serve, right to the middle for Keika Wilhan. Dungo pushes over for Jaden Scott with a strong blast. The dig by Fries hit the ceiling. Galloway somehow free balls it over. Can the Oaks take advantage of the Warriors discombobulated? Schaefer had a swing, dug out by Cheney. Over for Galloway, and Haley Galloway says, what discombobulation? 13-6 Warriors. They certainly look like the fresher squad, ladies and gentlemen. Not what Menlo fans were hoping to hear. Lauren Fries, a complete floater to Keika Wilhan in the near corner. Now it's Herrera for Jaden Scott. Her line drive played by Galloway. Dunn sets in the middle, and whiffing on it is Lexi Malone. And so now it is 13-7. Oaks down 6 as Nicole DiMartino checks on, and she will replace Lauren Schaefer, most likely just for the serve. We'll see how much longer the Oaks choose to roll with DiMartino, maybe on the defensive side. There's the dig, and now the set. It's right back to Galloway, tipped up front by Jaden Scott. DiMartino from behind. Dungo for Jaden Scott, blocked. The Oaks keep it up. Wooten pushes it over. Right there, Fries. The quick set in the middle from Malone. She's blocked. And 4 touches. No, a net violation, excuse me. I saw an official hold up 2 hands, and they call a net violation on Jaden Scott. I saw the 4, not the 5, so I thought, oh, 4 touches, that's odd, but no. Net violation, 14-7, an early football score here in set number 1. On to serve Keelan Kistner, the Perry High School graduate. Dungo, back set, Jaden Scott tipped up front, punched in the air by Kistner. Cassidy Ray sends one to Galloway, and now it's DiMartino. Dungo for Moya Keikawaha, rolled off the net, and then behind the scorer's table. And the points just keep on rolling. The Oaks don't look frazzled, but they certainly are off their game, and Westmont is playing about as good as they've looked all season right now. Kistner another serve, right to Keikawaha. Herrera was late reacting to it. Now DiMartino has to rally it across. Malone, Kistner thought she made contact with the net. The fans thought so, but the officials didn't see it. Herrera rallies it across. Cheney, back set for Cassidy Ray, is blocked out of bounds. Point Westmont, and it's 16-7. A decent contingency of Westmont fans to our left reacting. Their squad is up by 9, and a timeout called by the Oaks. Set 1, is it decided? We'll find out when we come on back on the Menlo College Sports Network. Inside Haynes Prim Pavilion with the Warriors up 16-7 in the first set of the GSAC title match. Well, as this is the Menlo College Sports Network, I figured it might be appropriate that we get in a little conversation about Menlo College sports because, you know, why not? That's what we're paid to do, or in some cases not paid to do. But regardless, A good day for Menlo so far. The Oaks winning their semifinal matchup, and women's basketball and men's wrestling also in action, picking up victories today. More on that in a moment. Kekawoha to Dungo, back to Mo through the middle. Point Oaks 16-8. Women's basketball over in Vallejo today against Cal State University Maritime. The Keel Haulers, the Oaks, victorious 91-39. They allowed just 14 second-half points to the Keel Haulers. A very impressive showing as Menlo improves to 3-1. Hallie Galloway has a kill, and it's now 17-8. So the Warriors come back with a quick response. Men's wrestling up in Simpson for their first duel of the 2019-2020 season. And it wasn't much of a duel. The Oaks won 43-3. Service error. I believe that's the third or fourth for Westmont, and it's 17-9. The Oaks still have a long ways to go to get up the hill. So far, Menlo 3-0 on the day. If you follow along their athletic department, they are hoping to go a perfect 4-0 and cap it off with their first GSAC championship. They won the regular season title, aiming for that tournament trophy. Kistner, good back set for Ray, and Cassidy Ray with a strong match. I mean, seriously, that one was pretty good. I like the back set by Kistner. It caught the Oaks out of position, and Cassidy Ray was able to go right through the Menlo block, taking advantage because they were not in position at all. Herrera, Dungo tries a back set for Kekawoha. It rolls off the net, and it does the trick. Sometimes it's just how you drew it up, isn't it? 18-10, and Moya Kekawoha will see if she can take her good fortunes to the service line. Gone are the days of the jump serve from her freshman year. High risk, high reward on that. Usually it was risk as the Oaks block it, but it's played by the Warriors. Cassidy Ray goes again. Abby Briggs got up there and stuffed that one. Oaks side, it's DiMartino, rolled it off the block, and right there is Ray. Kistner pushes over for Cheney, blocked up front. Briggs and Whitney combine, and it's 18-11. Moya Kekawoha to do it again. Angled one to the side, Cheney was there. Kistner flips one back for Ray, off of Dungo. And my, oh my, I'm not sure the Oaks have an answer for Cassidy Ray right now. I guess the answer for Menlo, she's off the floor, so that certainly helps. Going back to service, Sydney Dunn. The Oaks ran into a similar problem in their semifinal match against Hope International. Jalissa Sanchez was going off in that one early. She had 20 kills to lead all players on the floor in that match with 3 solo blocks and 4 assisted blocks. It's back on the Warriors side. It's Dunn, sets up Kerman, and Kerman goes right through the middle. That didn't have a lot on it, but it did the trick. And well, don't look now, but it's 20 serving 11. So Dunn will serve it again. The Oaks have brought Schaefer back on in the place of Nicole DiMartino. Remember, there are only 3 active players on the bench for Menlo right now. Scott, DiMartino, and Wooten. 9 players deep are the Oaks, so consider that. Cheney sends one long. And when you're an undersized and undermanned team like the Oaks are, it's so difficult to stay fresh. That's where you have to play smart, you have to play tactical, and your mind has to be sharp even if your body feels sluggish. Herrera serve, Dunn into the middle, and another one that goes long. That one courtesy of Kendall Kenyon. And so all of a sudden the Oaks have a little bit of momentum, and so Ruth McGulpin will call her first timeout. Oaks are down by 7, but they have some life, and we'll be back to the 2019 GSAC Championship match on the Menlo College Sports Network. We are back from the timeout. The Oaks have gotten the last two, but nothing else since. They're down 7, 20-13. Still time, but you got to go fast. Here's Luciana Herrera on another serve. And that's a service ace. A rare miscommunication there from the Warriors. It was Cheney and Madison Morrison who collided into each other when going for the dig. Pick your poison on who had the receiving error, and it's 20-14. This time it's Cheney. She's set up by Dunn. Keikoha, tough dig at her face. There's Schaefer, lofted over the block. And now the Oaks have a 4-0 run. One of the things that Denise Sheldon does so well, and I think it's part of the reason why she was GSAC Coach of the Year, great at in-game adjustments. And Luciana Herrera is pretty darn good at serving, isn't she? 20-16, and Ruth McGulpin's going to burn her last time out. It was a 9-point deficit. It's now a 4-point deficit. We'll be back to the GSAC title match on the Menlo College Sports Network. Chance of This Is Our House raining down inside Haynes Brim Pavilion. The home court of Menlo College trying to win a GSAC championship and trying to come back in set one. Down 20-16. Luciana Herrera serves another ace! Third ace in the run for Herrera. And the Oaks have gotten 6 straight. Kerman comes off. Kistner comes on. Herrera again. Good serve, but it's played this time. Cheney set up over the block. Keikoaha's dig goes off of her noggin. The Warriors needed something desperately to get themselves back in it. I know it's crazy to say that when your team was up by 3, but they needed something. They got something right there. 21-17, Cheney will serve it. The Oaks will make a substitution, a late one, however, first. Maybe an icing the server attempt, perhaps. DiMartino comes on for Lauren Schaefer. The Oaks up front, Whitney, Dungo, and Scott in the back. It's Herrera, Keikoaha, and DiMartino. Cheney serves. Keikoaha up for Dungo at the net. Back set for Whitney. She falls backwards, gets it over to Cheney. Galloway, a blast, and goes right through Moya Keikoaha, and it's 22-17. And now some of the Westmont fans to my left making some noise. Yes, I'm calling this one from up here at the camera angle because of the troubles we had in the first match with the camera shot. So we're going old school. Limited technology up here in the perch. And Jaden Scott has a kill. The fans to my right, the Menlo fans, they are very happy. No surprise. It's 22-18. And Janae Wooten will serve it, wearing number 5. Again, a jersey switch, wearing the jersey previously held the last 3+ years by Emily Sonata, but out with an injury all season. Galloway pushes it down right into the middle with the offhand as well. That was impressive. A savvy move by the junior out of Cardiff, California, making it 23-18. And Lauren Fries will serve it with the Warriors needing just 2 more points. First one, Galloway to Dungo for Jaden Scott, and she flipped it right into the net. And it's 24-18. Set point on the way for Lauren Fries. It would take some kind of run here by the Oaks. And Lauren Fries, one of the best servers on this team. Keikoaha to Dungo. Over for Nicole DiMartino, blocked. Kept up, Herrera. Blooping one over for DiMartino. She sends it into the middle. 24-19. As I say on virtually every Menlo broadcast, it seems like the home team never winds up getting set point, or the home team, the team that has the lead. They never seem to actually get set point on their serve. Kerman sends it inbounds. The Oaks let it go. That wasn't the right call, and that is the end of set number 1. The Warriors have taken it from Menlo College by a final score of 25-19. And they now need just 2 sets to take the GSAC championship in hostile territory. We'll be back with set number 2 here in a moment on the Menlo College Sports Network. What's the old saying? I think it was Mark Twain who made the statement several years ago. There are lies, there are damned lies, and then there are statistics. Well, the stats are telling the story through the first set of the GSAC championship match between Westmont and Menlo College. It's 1-0 Westmont after they take set 1 by a final score of 25-19. And we look at the numbers, 17 kills to just 5 errors for Westmont. They hit at 30.8% as a team. That is wicked. Hallie Galloway, 6 for 11, 54% for her, and 3 kills by a trio of players in Cassidy Ray, Brooklyn Cheney, and Patty Kerman. For the Oaks, a different story. Just 8 kills, 6 errors, and 5.4%, the mark that they hit at in the first set. Moya Kekoaha, the only Oak who has more than 1 kill. She has 3 on 6 attempts, 2 errors. The digs leader for the Oaks is Luciana Herrera. And the block battle 2-1 right now in favor of Westmont College. Though again, I think that the way Westmont played at the net in the first set, still very impressive, despite the fact that they only had 2 blocks, 1 solo coming from Cassidy Ray, while Kenyon and Kerman combined on another. So we're ready for set number 2. The teams have switched directions. Westmont will be on the right-hand side in their all-black uniforms. Menlo will be on the left-hand side, and they are in the white tops, navy shorts. Menlo won set 1 against Hope International, while Westmont won set 1 against Vanguard. When these two teams played in this exact same venue 2 weeks ago to the date, the Oaks won the first 2 sets before Westmont won the following 2, and then it went 5, where the Warriors led by 3 points on 2 different occasions in the 5th set and wound up losing. And now they're trying to just blow the Oaks out of the water. Menlo came back strong. Remember, it was 20-11. So the Oaks outscoring Westmont, 8-5 over the final 13 points. But certainly you're going to need a little bit more to go here in the second set. The student section off to my right, it is packed. Left side of the bleachers where Westmont is, it's pretty full as well. And there's some conversation with one of our officials about the lineup that Denise Sheldon turned in. Again, I'm all the way on the other side, so I can't exactly hear anything or know anything. I just have to surmise. But she had the sheet out and she was having a conversation with Coach Sheldon. And now over at the table, I think, as if to confirm something. Maybe Denise wrote something incorrectly, not quite sure. But regardless, we're ready for set number 2. And it's Nicole DiMartino who will serve it first. And it's sent across to Cheney. Sydney Dunn for Kerman, right through the middle, and a good start for the Warriors. They wasted absolutely no time with that first attack. And now on to serve is Keelan Kistner. Kistner in the first set in the starting lineup. No aces, 1 error. Jaden Scott in the middle. Cheney's there to react to it. Back set for Cassidy Ray. Tapped over, and Kekuaha plays it. Scott bumps for Kekuaha across the floor, and right there Galloway following to her right. Cassidy Ray's got one, and it's now 2-0. I just realized I said that Galloway falling is what I meant, but I said following, as if to try and follow the way that Galloway is enunciated. Trying to make stuff up. Service ace. Herrera watches it go right by her, and it's now 3-0 Westmont. So all that momentum the Oaks built up at the end of set 1 so far is all gone for naught. Kistner again to Kekuaha. Dungo sets up Kekuaha, rolled over the block, and Kistner is right there. Cassidy Ray readies, cross-court, diving effort by Dungo. DiMartino gets it up, and Wooten sends it across. Nicely done by the Oaks. Kistner into the middle. It's Lexi Malone, and the Oaks just look gassed, folks. Even though Westmont really only had about 2.5 hours off in between, the Oaks look like they just got off the floor, and that's another service ace for Kistner, and it's 5-0. I mean, it's so early in the match. Do you call a timeout if you're Denise Sheldon? How do you settle the troops down? If I had any expertise in volleyball coaching, I'd try to give an answer, but I have no idea what it is. Dungo to Jaden Scott. That might be a good start. Just do that. Jaden Scott with a ripper, and it's 5-1. Scott only had 1 kill in the first set, so she's doubled her total, but the Oaks are already down a cool 4. Jaden Scott into the middle, it's Cheney. The set by Kistner, there's Cassidy Ray. Jaden Scott has the dig. Dungo over for Kekuaha. Perhaps the one thing I could also say is don't let the fans hide their enthusiasm. Let them be loud and keep them entertained. Jaden Scott tickered off the net. That's toward the Westmont bench, but Freeze got there, and Galloway rallies it over. DiMartino, the Oaks set it up. It's Dungo to Kekuaha. Got up, it was blocked out of bounds. Now it's 5-3. So Jaden Scott continues. She had one of the most instrumental service runs in the first match for the Oaks against Hope. Another good line drive over the net. Kistner sets in the middle for Malone. Free balled over by Dungo. Kistner sets Malone again. DiMartino right there. Kekuaha, she'll just go for it herself, and it went outside the antenna. Oh, for a second I thought, why on earth is that being called out? But the officials and everyone on the floor saw it as well, so that must have been correctly called. Into the net off the serve by Galloway, and it's 6-4. If this were a different sport, I would say ball don't lie, but I just said it anyway, so who cares? 6-4, Pamela Dungo will serve it. She's on the extreme near side of the court. She'll walk it up, and she'll return the favor into the net. 7-4. Couple of substitutions. Cassidy Ray back on the floor for Westmont. So too is number 10, Alexa Gaddis. She's from Campbell, so she has some family here in attendance for the championship match. Dungo sets up Kristen Whitney, who goes through the block. It's punched up in the air and rallied across by Gaddis. That was Cheney who got an arm on it. Then Kekuaha has a kill. fans at home can't see it, but I looked to my right and I saw someone who was doing the feed me gesture. Yeah, that's what the Oaks need to do to Moya Keiko'oha. It's going to be a long night. She's going to be tired, but they're going to need her to continue to play big. 5-7. They set up Cassidy Ray. Dungo with a great dig. As Ray tried to go cross court, DiMartino lofted over the block. Freeze cuts it off on the dig. Cheney sends one back over for Ray off the Menlo block, and it was popped up in the air by Kenyon. Ray again! And finally on the third try, Cassidy Ray has a kill, and it's 8-5. Well, you knew it sooner or later Cassidy Ray was going to come through and she was going to get hers, and that's exactly what happened. The Oaks somehow keep it up. It was Dungo, and now Keiko'oha. Cheney falling over and sent across again. This time it was by Kendall Kenyon. Whitney goes cross court. Back to the net. The Oaks touched it down. So since the Oaks have gotten back in it, we've been flip-flopping back and forth. It's been between a 2- and 3-point deficit for the Oaks to try and climb their way out of. Luciana Herrera serves it to Cheney. The set, the attack, Herrera, good dig, but then it goes underneath the net. Herrera just had to try and react to the side, and she moved to her right, got the ball off the knuckles, and then it went back to the net. No one was on that side of the floor, and it just fell harmlessly at the base of the net. Keiko'oha back to the net. There's Dungo on a bump for DiMartino. Tipped up front, Cheney in deep. Back set by Dunn, and right through the middle, Patty Kerman gives the Warriors a 10-6 lead. They're the first to 10. So now here's Brooklyn Cheney to go back again to serve it. Denise Sheldon on the sideline saying, let's calm down a little bit. DiMartino on the dig. It goes behind her over to Herrera. Then Keiko'oha comes in with a roll shot from the back row. Dig goes back to the Menlo side. Dungo, back set. Kristen Whitney, one of her strongest blasts of the night, but it was played by Cheney. Galloway goes cross court. Keiko'oha to Dungo. And now DiMartino is blocked up front. Kendall Kenyon. Hello and good night. 11-6. Back up by 5. Go the Warriors. First time they've been up 5 since 5-0. There's the serve. It's over to Keiko'oha. Dungo sets up Whitney by the ref stand. Touchdown, Herrera right there. Jaden Scott is blocked, and then I think she touched it twice. She did, and it's 12-6. Denise Sheldon has 2 timeouts to kill. She'll use one right here. Warriors in control again in set number 2. We'll be back to the GSAC championship match on the Menlo College Sports Network. We welcome you back on the floor following the timeout. And, of course, one of the leaders on this team, she's an all-conference player for Westmont, a former All-American, Cassidy Ray. She's in her senior season. She'll be graduating, and she's going to be graduating, get this, as a double major in history and political science. A 3.94 GPA. She is one smart cookie, but it goes beyond that. As Jaden Scott had an attack attempt dug out by Cheney, and then the Oaks on 2 touches. Now the third, DiMartino gets it across. The back set, there's Kerman. Whistle blows. Net violation against the Oaks. 13-6, Westmont leads. Last summer, it was announced that Cassidy Ray was the recipient of the annual NAIA AO Doer Award that is handed out on a regular basis since 1967 to one junior male and female athlete across the country. Keiko Woha on the tough dig for Dungo. Now DiMartino rolled it over to Freeze. Back set, there's Kerman, and Dungo has the dig. Keiko Woha for Kristen Whitney through the middle, and playing it is Sydney Dunn. Lauren Freeze bumps it over to Kerman, who got it, and Whitney stood tall. Met at the net, DiMartino got a touch, now she has a bump. Herrera, DiMartino blocked. Oaks keep it up again, another long rally. That'll go the way of the Oaks. DiMartino with a kill, 13-7. The AO Doer Award is named in honor of the former executive secretary of the NAI office for 26 years, and it comes with a $1,000 scholarship. And Cassidy Ray was a very logical selection for it. Again, the 394 GPA. She specializes in Middle Eastern studies. That's what she has her focus in when it comes to history. Dungo for DiMartino, blocked up front. Kerman is there, so too is Kendall Kenyon, and it's 14-7, as we saw in set number one. But it's about the well-rounded individual, and Cassidy Ray is certainly that. She studied abroad briefly in Cairo, Egypt, and she taught English to the impoverished village that she was staying at out there in Cairo. Oaks get a point from their middle blockers. It's 14-8. And she's actually been offered to come back. I'm not sure if she accepted or not. I assume she did. Maybe Ron Smith, who is the wonderful SID at Westmont, maybe he's tuning in, he could confirm this. I believe she accepted a position at Westmont in 2020 as the assistant director of the study abroad program. So congratulations to Cassidy Ray, and again, just an all-around stellar human being, and it made sense that she was the recipient of the AO Doer Scholarship Award. Warriors got it over and then out of bounds, and so now it's 14-9. And last year, well, I guess now it was a little over a year ago, year and a half, one of three Westmont Warriors to pick up national awards. Libby Dahlberg, who's now an assistant coach on Ruth McGulpin's staff, took home the Leroy Walker Champion of Character Award, and then it was Kirsten Moore, the women's basketball head coach, longtime women's basketball head coach at Westmont, took home the NAIA Coach of Character Award. They do it well down there in Westmont. There's Dungo. Jaden Scott punches it out of bounds. Right idea there by Jaden Scott, but just didn't have the right angle. And it's 15-9. Although perhaps Ron isn't tuned in tonight. Again, my phone will get a text eventually if he is. But Westmont hosting the Women's Soccer Tournament Championship. They just hosted both the men's and the women's soccer tournament. So God bless the folks down there at Westmont for hosting two fantastic tournaments. Freeze in the middle. The back set by Kistner. Ray taps it over, and right there DiMartino down low. Readjusting is Keiko Woha off of the block. It almost did the trick. Cassidy Ray mashes one off of Janae Wooten, and it's now 16-9. Yeah, hosting two tournaments in 1 week is no joke, and that's exactly what Westmont did, with Menlo College men's soccer winning the men's tournament that concluded yesterday on Friday, and then on Saturday today, Vanguard beating Westmont 1-0 in the championship match. Wooten's dig towards the bleachers. Keiko Woha recovers, and now it'll be rallied into the center by Herrera. Ray, Kistner sets, Galloway, going down is Keiko Woha. Scott races over, has the set, and again, free ball this time by Wooten at the net. Kistner, and thrown down by Lexi Malone. Menlo College will use its final timeout. They don't seem to be panicked, but they seem to be tired. It's 17-9 Westmont, set number 2. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network.
Standing
We're back from the final Menlo College timeout. They are down 17-9 and in danger of falling down 2-0 to Westmont College in the championship match. We saw sweeps on Friday in the quarterfinal matches. Hope and Vanguard winning in sweeping fashion. We saw 5-setters in the semis. It looks like if the Oaks are going to come back, they're going to have to do it in 5. Jaden Scott tipped off the net in front. Lauren Fries bumps it over to Cassidy Ray, and right there's Janae Wooten. DiMartino cuts off Scott on an attempted bump set. Keikowoha got it over and eventually thrown down once again by Lexi Malone. It's 18-9, and again, the Warriors have doubled up on the Oaks. There's the serve by Kistner. It's sunk straight into the net. And at this point, the Oaks will take any bit of life that they can get. Their fans on the right side, they seem to be a little bit concerned and perhaps a bit shell-shocked as well. The Oaks have fallen behind 0-2 on several occasions this year, but they always find a way to come back. Cassidy Ray, left-hand flip shot, and it got over everybody on the Oaks, and they just weren't in position. And it's 19-10. Right now, it just looks pretty easy for Westmont. They just give it to anybody in the middle, and that's all they got to do. There's Keikowoha. Waiting for it, Dungo sets up Moya Keikowoha, got it inside the antenna. Fries was there. Kistner sets Malone again, but I think Malone ran into the net. She did. And it's 19-11. So Menlo at least getting something to go their way. It would have been another kill for Lexi Malone right in the middle. Malone's still out there with Ray and Kistner. Don't forget about Cheney. She's positioned over on the left-hand side. To the back row, Fries off the service from Dungo. It's Kistner, now Cheney. She's blocked, but it rolls all the way across the floor and out of play. 20-11. The Warriors are up. This is the same mark we saw in set number 1 before the Oaks went on a 6-0 run and made things very interesting. Alexa Gaddis will serve it to DiMartino. Scrapes the ceiling. Kristen Whitney go to the back row. It's played by Gaddis. Cheney blocked by the Oaks and out of bounds. 21-11. I'd say this is probably the most quiet it has been here inside Haynes Prim in a long time. Herrera. Dungo waiting for it. Keikowoha across the floor. It's dug out. There's the back set for Cassidy Ray. Dungo's able to dig that one out. DiMartino over the shoulder for Moya Keikowoha. And on a good dig to her right was Madison Morrison. Now free balled over by Brooklyn Cheney. Kristen Whitney into the middle of the floor. It's pushed out. Cheney again falls backwards. DiMartino cut off Keikowoha on the dig. Whitney taps it over. Ray right there to pop it up in the sky. Blocked. Kept up by Gaddis on the Warriors side. Cassidy Ray ends it with authority. (22-11). Here's Gaddis again. Keikowoha to Dungo. Kristen Whitney. That got off the net. Westmont fans wanted something else called. And Cassidy Ray lands one inside the line. The Oaks are just, their heads aren't in it right now. Now again, with Menlo having won the regular season championship, they have already clinched a berth to the NAI opening round, as too has Westmont by virtue of them just playing in this one tonight against a team that's already clinched. Keikowoha into the net, it's 24-11. So this really doesn't matter aside from tournament champion rights and a trophy in the trophy case. The Oaks have never won a postseason tournament in the GSAC. And set point is on the way right here. It won't happen there as the Oaks stop the bleeding momentarily. It's 24-12. So on to serve it is Keikowoha. Just trying to give the Oaks some momentum before they head into the third set. They will have a break. The back set for Cassidy Ray was blocked. Warriors keep it up. Kistner right there into the middle. Again, it's a middle blocker. This time it's Kendall Kenyon. And it's 25-12, the second set score. The Oaks are down to their last hope. And Westmont is one set away from winning the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Championship. We'll be back after the intermission with set number 3. You're watching the 2019 GSAC Championship on the Menlo College Sports Network.
It comes down to priorities. If your school wants to be nationally competitive at a reasonable price while driving enrollment and supporting the school's bottom line, the NAIA is the best association for you. How do NAIA schools do it? NAIA schools measure success not just by game scores, but by their financial bottom lines. Their NCAA counterparts spend an average of 60% more on athletics. For the schools at the top of the Directors' Cup rankings, the cost goes up to twice as much as an NAIA school. Regardless of their size, all schools are in competition for students. Student-athlete participation at NAIA schools has increased an average of 40% in the last 5 years. That's good for the student-athletes and provides vital support and financial stability to our member institutions.
Moving from Division III to NAIA has given our athletics department a boost in recruitment, and it's been a definite step up in competition for our student athletes.
We know the NAIA isn't the right place for every school, but for those schools wanting to offer quality, competitive athletics without the high price tag, the NAIA is the right fit. Take a closer look. You won't be disappointed.
We welcome you back inside Haynes Prim Pavilion on the campus of Menlo College. Brian Brownfield with you here for the call of the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Championship matchup. And it has gone all Westmont so far. They lead 2-0, and the statistics continue to tell the story. 31.7% attacking are the Warriors. The Oaks, 4.9%. On the attack for Westmont, 9 kills for Cassidy Ray with no errors. 6 kills, no errors for Hallie Galloway. As a team, just 7 errors so far for Westmont. While the Oaks, 16 kills, 12 errors. Keiko Oha leads the way with 7 kills. Jaden Scott has 3. By every measure of this contest, the Warriors should have a 2-0 lead, and they do. However, the Oaks have been in this position many times before, and I don't think this is going to faze them. If there's one thing we've learned about Menlo College over the course of this entire crazy 2019 season, where I don't know if a lot of us necessarily thought they would be in this position come the end of the year, it's that this team has this innate ability to block everything out and to play the most determined, the most gritty, the most resilient style of volleyball that I think this conference has seen maybe in a long time. I mean, there has never been, at least in my time here in the GSAC, there has never been a team that has been as just comebacky as this team. Nothing phases them. And if they're gonna win it on their home floor, they're gonna have to do it in 5 sets. It's something they did in the semifinal against Hope. They got down 2-1, they came back. Most recently, on Oktoberfest weekend, the Oaks were down 2-0 to William Jessup. That was on October 19th. Menlo came back and won sets 3 and 4, ultimately lost in 5, but at this point, we'd love to see some 5th set volleyball. It's also worth pointing out that this season, when the Oaks have played twice on the same day, their second matchup, they are 1-1. They've only done it twice. They played in just one tournament. It was the Warrior Invitational to end August. They took on Southern Oregon and Simpson on day 1, lost to the Raiders. They were ranked 6th in the country. That wasn't much of a surprise. Then they beat Simpson. The next day, they lost to Oregon Tech and then lost to UC Merced. And the loss to Merced was a bit telling because the Oaks had previously taken down Merced to begin the season up in Merced. Westmont this season, they have played a couple of times in these situations. To open up the year, they had a couple of tournaments. They lost to Embry-Riddle in the second game of a back-to-back. They beat St. Francis on the second game of a back-to-back. Lost to Bellevue on the second half of a back-to-back, and beat Peru State in sweeping fashion on the back end of a back-to-back. So they have done it a few more times than the Oaks. But throw all those numbers out the window, it's time for set number 3, and the Warriors can clinch a GSAC championship right here in this set. Herrera, Dungo with a back swipe, out of bounds, and it's 1-0. Westmont strikes first. On to serve it again is Keelan Kistner. Cross court, Wooten watches it land in bounds, it's 2-0. And again, it's the decision-making of Menlo in trying to be a little bit too cute. Dungo's failed attack. Wooten should have played that one. And another one that lands in bounds in front of Kekawoha, and it's 3-0. That one, even if Kekawoha dives at and makes a play, I'm not quite sure she's going to get to. The service, Herrera down low. Back set Dungo, Jaden Scott is blocked. DiMartino to Dungo, back set, Jaden Scott is blocked again. Hallie Galloway 4-0. Wow. There's the serve. Kekawoha, Dungo for Kekawoha, and she'll get the Oaks on the board. Now remember, in set number 1, the Oaks trailed 5-0. They were able to pull within 1. They never took the lead or tied it in set number 2. The service by Jaden Scott. Cassidy Ray from the middle, 4 touches. 4-2. The Menlo College men's soccer team has left the student section, and they have now occupied the other half of the bleachers where the Westmont fans are. So now there's Menlo everywhere here inside Haynes Prim. Cheney has the dig. The set. Falling awkwardly to play it was Lexi Malone, but she got it over. There's Dungo for Kekawoha again, and back near the antenna, and Cassidy Ray ran into it. 4-3. And in a very similar fashion to what we saw in set one, the Oaks responding well early. Jaden Scott, though, sends one wide on a service error, and it's 5-3. And so that will be the difference for Menlo. You'll have to go on some runs, and you'll have to sustain momentum. This is an important point right here with Galloway serving, and she sends it long. All right, so as I just said, that last point was the most important point. Well, now this one becomes the most important point, and so forth and so on down the line. Dungo with just 14 assists so far, well below her season average of nearly 10%. She's going to get an ace, and we're tied at 5. All the Warriors could do on that one was try to free ball it over by Lauren Fries, and she sent it wide. So I guess you could go an ace on that one, because I don't think that was a true attack attempt. So we're tied up at 5 here in the third set. And Pamela Dungo will do it again. A knuckleball right to Cheney. Bumped. Ray from well deep. The Oaks tipped it up front. DiMartino there. Dungo calls everybody off, and Whitney goes to the middle for Fries. Back set Kistner. There's Cassidy Ray. Herrera lunging to her left to make the dig, but she was unable to do so successfully. And it's 6-5 with Westmont back out in front by 1. So Alexa Gaddis comes in, and Gaddis will serve it from the far end of the floor. Runs up, top spin. There's Keikawaha. Dungo back set for Keikawaha. Threw it down and outside the antenna. 6-6 here in set number 3. And Keikawaha will go back to serve. She takes it near side of the floor. Oaks looking for their first lead since 1-0 set 1. Kistner into the middle, and it's dug out by Pamela Dungo. Kristen Whitney blocked. Herrera up in the air. Keikawaha in from behind, and Dungo pushes it to the corner. Freeze. Kistner, the set, and the attack was tipped by the Oaks at the net. It went long, but it was tipped, and it's 7-6 Westmont. They reclaim the lead by 1. So now Sydney Dunn to serve. DiMartino the dig. Racing all the way back towards the key is Keikawaha, and it's rallied over by Dungo. Cheney off of the antenna. Tied at 7. Same spot for the Oaks, trying to take the lead for the first time. Herrera, line drive, dug out. The set by Dunn. There's Cheney. She's blocked, but the Warriors react quickly. It was Madison Morrison. Whitney bumps. Dungo sets. DiMartino swings, and the Oaks are in front. Eight to 7, the Oaks lead. For the first time, and this will be free balled by Morrison. Herrera goes back, she's got it. Whitney tips one into the center of the floor, capped off on a beautiful pancake by Dunn. Whitney, Dungo comes in deep, lofts one to the middle, and open-handed across by DiMartino. Back set, Kerman! Ties us back up at 8. Boy, did that thing have some mustard on it. That was a smack and a half by Patty Kerman, who now has 7 kills. There's the serve, it's DiMartino. Dungo waits, gets it to Jaden Scott. Off the dig, it's Cheney. Racing over there is Fries, and now rallied across by Kenyon. Whitney again, she's blocked, pushed it over the net, however, and the Warriors keep it up. There's Galloway, blocked down by Jaden Scott. 9-8 Menlo up, and suddenly there's life inside Haynes Prim. They sense that to this point it has gone a little differently here in set 3. Janae Wooten will serve. Smacks it over, there's Fries. At the net, back set, done. Kerman, it was tipped and Dungo was there. Keikawaha sets, And DiMartino just smacked it over. Kerman again, lofted over the block, right there, Herrera. Now Dungo pushes one over for DiMartino, tipped up front, Lauren Freeze down low. Dunn for Galloway, all the way to the back. Herrera right there on a good dig. Dungo angles one for DiMartino, off of Cheney, punched it up in the air by Galloway, and Freeze gets it across. Wooten, Dungo, Jaden Scott again! 10-8. The Oaks are up. And Janae Wooten will go back to serve. There's the serve. Cheney, Dunn at the net, met by Jaden Scott, and now it's 11-8. And now Ruth McGulpin senses the tides have turned, and she calls a timeout. Oaks are up by 3, largest lead of the night as they try to climb the mountain on the Menlo College Sports Network. To 8 Menlo College leads here in set number 3 of the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Championship match. This third set's been pretty good and a lot closer than the first 2. Warriors allowed the Oaks to score 19 and 12 points in the first 2 sets. It's been better here in the third. There's the serve. Dunn for Galloway, and Haley Galloway comes out of the timeout and says, "We back." 11-9, the Oaks lead trimmed to 2, and Lauren Freeze will go back to serve. Lauren Freeze always takes a step back after she serves and then saunders her way back into the field of play. Kerman off of Herrera, and it's 11-10. Wow. Seemed like a well-called timeout so far off the first 2 points. And Kerman has been playing large here in this set number 3. Kekuaha, Dungo, Jaden Scott is blocked right there, Wooten. Met off of Dungo, then she stumbles. Herrera there, and rallied over the shoulder by DiMartino. Angles one for Galloway, and her attack goes long. 12-10. So that'll bring Nicole DiMartino back out of San Ramon Valley High School. This will be her final home game here inside Haynes Prim, even though it's a neutral site contest, last time playing in front of the home fans. Angled a back set, and it's Kerman again. Patty Kerman is stealing the show here in set number 3. And she's brought Westmont within 1 once again. And now it's tied off the service ace. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back. Tie game here in set 3 on the Menlo College Sports Network. Okie is in the house here on the final game of the season here inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. Yes, Okie the Acorn, Menlo College's mascot. No acorns do not have a natural scowl on their faces, but that's how Okie is designed to look. And he's currently behind the scorer's table, giving a high five to Aaron Flores. I have no idea who is in the Okie costume, but it's always great when we get to see Okie in attendance inside Haynes Prim. Dungo for Kekawaha, she's blocked, and right there is Dungo to recover. Moya again to the back row, Cheney plays it. Back set, Cassidy Ray gives the Warriors the lead once again, 13-12. And again, when you are in these moments, cream rises. And that is Cassidy Ray. She has had a fantastic game. The Oaks haven't had much of an answer for her so far. This time they'll set Lexi Malone, and the Oaks don't have an answer for Malone. Now it's 14-12. And you wonder how far behind the Oaks can fall in this set to come back. They were down 4-0 to begin, after falling behind 5-0 to begin the previous set. Almost a service ace off the bad dig by Kekawaha. Her low line drive shot played from down low by Ray on an athletic move. Now Galloway got it across to Herrera. Dungo for Kekawaha. Nearly touches the net. Galloway, Haley Galloway has made it 15-12. And Denise Sheldon has her hands up on the sideline talking to assistant coach Bryant Tran as if to say, what do we do? Kekawaha for Dungo. Back set, Kekawaha tipped up front. There's Cassidy Ray. Kistner sets Malone. And it's 16-12, a 6-0 run for Westmont College. The Warriors can feel it, but they won't feel that one as that one's lined into the net by Keelan Kistner on the service error, and it's now 16-13, and by my counts, that is 6 service errors. The Oaks have just 2. But that might be the only thing the Oaks have done better so far tonight than Westmont. Jaden Scott on the serve. Dug out down low, it was Galloway. Cassidy Ray from the middle, the dig goes back to the Menlo side, the block out of bounds, and it's 17-13. If you're wondering, Westmont College has actually raised one GSAC championship earlier in 2019 here inside Haynes Prim Pavilion, as that service error makes it 17-14. Women's basketball championship here inside Haynes Prim. In March, Westmont taking down the Masters for the title. In the fall of 2018, the same academic year, Westmont men's soccer beat Menlo men's soccer in an opening round playoff game here at Menlo College. Dungo off of the roof, and it's shot back down, and the Oaks couldn't react. And Haynes Prim has become quite friendly to Westmont College. It's 18-14. Alexa Gaddis will serve it. Gaddis smacks it over. There's Herrera. Dungo, back set for Moya Kekawaha. Blocked off of her skull, 19-14. And the Oaks have fallen silent. The only ones making noise are Westmont Warriors. Last time out for the Oaks. We'll step aside and come back on the Menlo College Sports Network. What do the Oaks have left? Do they have any fight left before they will find out their fate in the NAI National Tournament, the opening round selection show at 8 a.m. Pacific on Monday morning? They will be playing in the opening round. They would just love to go in as GSAC Conference Tournament champions. Abby Briggs from the middle block. Dungo got there quickly. Now Kekuaha rolled over the block and rolled too far. And it's 20-14. This match has not gone like the first two between Menlo and Westmont. Both went 5 sets. DiMartino, Kekuaha, and free-balling it over is Abby Briggs. Kistner sets up Cassidy Ray, and Ray just swiped one basically horizontally across the net, and it does the trick. It's 21-14. And Gaddis will serve it again. DiMartino to Dungo. Got a good ball to the middle for Kekuaha, but it's reacted to by Cheney. Now Cassidy Ray, another rocket, but Herrera got there for that one. Kekuaha blocked and kept up by the Oaks. Kristen Whitney now to the middle, and it was left wide open. 21-15. There is only one timeout left to be had here in this third set. It belongs to Westmont, if they ever so feel inclined to use it. Moya Kekuaha will serve it. Into the middle for Madison Morrison. Freeze pushes over for Brooklyn Cheney. Dug out by DiMartino. Back to the middle. Easy pickings for Kendall Kenyon. 22-15. And the Warriors on their sidelines. They are celebrating. They know the moment is the final GSAC volleyball tournament. We'll talk about that later on as we're wrapping things up on the postgame show. Kerman, 23-15. And right now, the Warriors are just a finely tuned bunch of athletic machines. Oaks down 8, and they look like they're on their last legs. Dunn on the serve. Kekuaha, not the best to Dungo. Now DiMartino to the back row. Freeze watches it go, and it's 24-15. And Westmont College is 1 point away from a GSAC championship. And Sydney Dunn will do the honors to try and give Westmont the 2019 GSAC title. To Herrera, Dungo, Kristen Whitney tipped up front, diving down is Dunn. Freeze bumps to Cheney and over to Herrera. Now it's Kekuaha. Over to DiMartino, rolled long, and there it is! The 2019 GSAC championship is going back home to Santa Barbara. (25-15) in the third set, and a straight sweep for Westmont College in enemy territory as they knock off the regular season champs to win the title for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons. And while Westmont celebrates, the Oaks fans salute their squad for one final time during the 2019 campaign. But first, before the celebrations can commence, prayer at center court. We'll hop off for a moment and come back with the postgame show. The Warriors are elated just to the left of the Menlo College M. The tournament has concluded and Westmont has done it again. They are the 2019 GSAC champions And they do so in, again, impressive fashion, shutting down the Oaks, never allowing them to score more than 19 points. And certainly there is disappointment on the side of Menlo College as the fans begin to pile up. But the Westmont fans to our left, they are pumped. It's a young Warriors squad, and they have come up into Northern California, and they have won the 2019 GSAC championship. It wasn't easy, and they almost didn't get here. After losing the 4th set to Vanguard, but they were able to come back, win the 5th set, and now they are conference champions. And as we prepare for the t-shirt ceremony and the awarding of the trophy to Westmont College, a moment to salute Menlo. 19-10 thus far. They will be partaking in the national tournament. That is a given. So too will Westmont. Their season is not done, but this is the 3rd time in the last really year and a half that Westmont College has either won a postseason tournament or won a very important elimination playoff game here against the Oaks. And so it's a little bit bittersweet, but that Westmont-Menlo rivalry is certainly real, and it certainly has, at least been historically speaking, a one-sided rivalry. So the Warriors have won the title, and they will go down the line and receive their tournament championship t-shirts. And we'll call them out as they do so as well, with Chris Englage on the microphone. And I believe up first will be Kaylani Mayo. Kaylani Mayo did not play in this tournament, but on the season, she played in 14 sets. Not many statistics, but the freshman out of San Jose will be an important player in the future. There's Lauren Fries, the stellar libero for this Westmont College squad, receiving her t-shirt second. Kaylee Ivey is up third, the sophomore out of Gilbert, Arizona from Basha High School. Anna Newman is fourth. Not dressed out, she was inactive for the tournament, a defensive specialist. Hallie Galloway, what a role she played. Not an all-conference player, but she was fantastic, the Cardiff native.
Number 7,
Sydney Dunn, one of the 2 primary setters on this squad, behind Keelan Kistner. She was on the floor a lot. Audrey Brown made the trip up. She wears number 8, a sophomore out of Gilbert, Arizona. Madison Morrison saw time in the tournament from the defensive specialist position. She's from Paso Robles, about a couple hours down south from Atherton. There's number 10, Alexa Gaddis, the Campbell native, her family elated to our left. Cassidy Ray, will she be an All-American once again? Time will tell, but she'll get a chance to show it at the national tournament. Brooklyn Cheney in all-conference season in her junior year, the Bakersfield native. Patty Kerman was huge in the 3rd set, and she is pumped, as are the rest of the Warriors. Lexi Malone, the freshman middle blocker out of Ventura, California. She was big in the middle. So too was Kendall Kenyon out of Newport Beach in her freshman season. And to round out the playing staff, Keelan Kistner out of Queen Creek, the primary setter on the Westmont squad. And now for the coaching staff. Ruth McGulpin in her first season. She's been a multi-time winner of the Assistant Coach of the Year award, and she's a GSAC champion in year 1. Sarah McGuff is a champion as an assistant on the staff. And so too is Libby Dahlberg, once again returning after her career was cut short due to an injury last season. She was on the staff, and she picks up another championship to her credit. And now Assistant Conference Commissioner Lucas Armstrong will award the Warriors their conference championship trophy. It's Lauren Fries and Cassidy Ray, the first to receive it. And now they are mobbing each other with the tournament trophy just beside the Golden State Athletic Conference table. And the Warriors are champions in 2019. It's bittersweet for sure, as not just an employee of Menlo College, but also as an alum, to see your squad fall short in the championship round. But Westmont College, as they have done so often throughout their years in the Golden State Athletic Conference, they find a way to overcome a lot. And that's something that Menlo College, I think, can learn from. They have had to overcome quite a bit here this season. They just couldn't overcome one final test against Westmont. And who knows? Maybe these teams will meet again later on down the road. There's a lot of time left to figure that out. But the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament is next weekend. And certainly it's going to be interesting to see where the Oaks fall. Perhaps they could be making a short trip to Merced. We're not really sure. But 8 a.m. on Monday morning, Menlo will know its fate, and they will know where they are playing the opening round of the weekend of November 22nd and November 23rd as they attempt to make it to the final site in Sioux City, Iowa. Well, that'll do it for our broadcast coverage of the 2019 Golden State Athletic Conference Women's Volleyball Tournament. The Menlo College Oaks, the gracious hosts, they fought well, but the Warriors sweep in straight sets, capping it off with finals of 25-19, 25-12, and 25-15 to take home the title back to their campus in Santa Barbara. On behalf of everybody, our entire game day staff here at Menlo College, our producer Isaiah Shigematsu, I'm Brian Brownfield signing off one final time here inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. This, the 2019 GSAC Women's Volleyball Tournament. The Westmont Warriors have won it in straight sets over the Menlo Oaks. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time on the Menlo College Sports Network.